or welcome for the first time. I don't know your life. Got a hair in my mouth. If you are new here, go follow me everywhere. Go follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Facebook, and my blog website, and my Twitter website, and all of that is in the description below. If you have already done that, then hello, welcome back, friends. Happy Tuesday. I never know what to say. I never know how to start or end anything. Is that a metaphor? I think that might be a metaphor. Maybe one day I'll figure this out. I'm not hopeful. Anyway, welcome back, penny darlings. But maybe. What accent should I do today? Welcome to my video. That's Iceland. I think I just offended the entire country of Iceland. Anyway, I have a story for you today, and it is the most bizarre set of circumstances that has ever happened to me. I mentioned in my last video where I talked about where I met Preston that we met on OkCupid. But I had had the app for 2 or 3 years before I met him, and I had never gone on a date from it. I was usually pretty sure that the guy was gonna murder me, so I was like, I'm good on that. Or they would send me like, hey, can I have a picture of your feet? And I would say, no. So I signed up for OkCupid when I was in college. And when I was in college, every boy on the dating app was a boy who I also went to college with. So OkCupid was kind of not really working for me. And everybody kept saying, oh, give it a chance, you'll meet somebody, you never know. And I mean, they were right, I eventually met my husband, but I was not convinced that online dating was for me. Maybe this is just not a trend I want to stick with, maybe this is something I am not meant to do in any capacity. So one day, I was scrolling through like the same old guys. Every single one of them, I'm swiping did you swipe in OkCupid? I'm swiping through and there's every stereotypical dating app guy. There's the guy who's posing with a tiger. There's a guy who's in a group shot, and which one is he? There's a guy who's still using a picture from high school even though he's 23. There's a picture of a guy who's just openly smoking a blunt. All real winners. But I was not having a lot of luck meeting anybody who I thought would be a good match or a good fit with me. So let's do some math here for a second. In 2013, I'd had the app for a little over a year when I decided I was going to take a huge risk. I was going to take off the location filter services and see where in the entire freaking world was my perfect match. Was he with Carmen Sandiego? Waldo? Who knows? But he was probably somewhere, right? I do it. I take off the location filter and I have a match with a guy who happens to live in Chicago. Patrick. He was really smart and funny. He liked Harry Potter and theater. He was like the whole package. And he was like pretty tall and pretty cute, so... And like tall and cute. So I messaged Patrick completely on a whim. I don't know, I just wanted to send him a message and maybe I wanted to make a new connection or make a new friend or say, hey, the universe thinks we're supposed to be together. I mean, we obviously weren't gonna date. We lived 800 miles apart. Ain't nobody got time for that. I just sent him a message. Hey, I'm Abby, I'm from Pennsylvania. You happen to be my perfect match. He messaged me back. We actually ended up really hitting it off right away. We ended up sexting. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Preston. But it's true. We were sexting for a while and I was really interested in him. The space between us was just so impractical, you know? Here's 2 very important details. He had a bunch of photos on his dating profile, but for a long time, I did not know his last name. We were not friends on social media. He never asked and I never asked. We had really only our first names and our common interests, so it was kind of like having this weird disconnected virtual pen pal. And then even after Preston and I met, we ended up becoming really good friends and we had a lot in common. He would tell me about shows that he was working on. I would send him things I was working on for theater. We actually ended up becoming really good friends out of it. Here's where the story gets weird. So I have been in contact with Patrick since 2013. Yeah, 7 years I've been talking to this dude. So in 2018, I go out and visit my best friend Abby, who moved to Chicago in 2015. I'm so sorry, I don't know. But I go out to Chicago to visit her and I think, I don't know, maybe it's time that we finally meet, right? You know, we start texting again. We've been in contact on and off for all these years. I said, you know, of all the random things, my best friend moved to Chicago and I'm coming to visit. Do you want to meet me? And he said, yeah, I would love to meet you. Planned how we were gonna meet. He and I were gonna go meet at a bar in the North Shore of Chicago and just have a drink and talk and really just get to meet each other in person. You know, it's like meeting your pen pal. I've been talking to this guy for almost a decade at that point, and I was gonna go out and meet him, and that was wild. I couldn't even imagine what he was gonna be like in person. And also, because we're not friends on social media, because I don't know his last name, I haven't really seen a picture of this guy since 2013, by the time that I go to Chicago in 2018. That's also important. I had not seen a picture of him at all. Maybe like a selfie here or there, but really not very many. I really don't have a good memory of what this guy looks like. We connect, I tell him I'm coming out to Chicago, we start making plans, he tells me we're gonna meet at a bar. I said to him, I should probably know your last name if we're gonna meet in person in a city that I don't live in, and I'm gonna meet a strange dude from the internet who could have been catfishing me for 7 years. Can I at least stalk you a little bit, like look you up on Facebook and make sure you're probably not a murderer? He was very amenable. He's like, this is my last name, you can look me up. We're still not friends on any social media to this day. So I look him up, and this dude looks exactly like Preston. Time for a little quick caffeine break. This video not sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts, although I think it should be. So this guy is an exact doppelganger of Preston. You know what, honestly, it's so bizarre that I'm gonna get his permission, and I'm going to put pictures of them side by side right now. You're gonna go which one's which, okay? Check it out. Is that not wild to you? That's wild to me. I think they look like exact doppelgangers. And the weird thing is, if you had asked me beforehand, before I ever knew Patrick, what my type was, I would never have said Preston. As far as having a type, he's not usually the kind of guy I would have gone for. So I go into this bar and I meet him, and he looks so much like Preston. At the time, Preston was my fiance. I ended up telling Patrick about that, and he thought that was wild, and since then they've actually we've done like a Skype call where all three of us were on. It's so weird. I actually have this dream that we're gonna do like a photo shoot, all three of us together, and it's gonna look like I'm in between like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, but boys. And we've maintained our friendship ever since then. He's been a really good friend to me, you know, for the last 7 years. I did not ask him yet if I can make this video. Patrick, please say yes. You know, we've both had different boyfriends and girlfriends over the years. We've both, you know, had heartbreak and things happen in our lives. We've always kept in contact. Everybody says like dating apps bring out the worst in people, but what I ended up doing was meeting my husband's doppelganger 7 years before I met my husband. And that's kind of cool, right? This might not be the most thrilling story I'll ever tell, but I think it's like definitely one worth mentioning. What are the odds of that? Video is not sponsored by Dunkin', nor is it sponsored by donuts. So this was kind of a little quick story I just wanted to tell you. I was talking to Patrick for years. I had no idea what he looked like. I really didn't know him as a person more than just our conversations and only kind of general stuff about his life. I didn't really know what he did for a living. I didn't know much about his living situation. We talked a lot about art and theater and plays and a lot of different things. You know, we had a lot in common. And the little details like who are you and what do you look like and what's your life about never really came up. But it's because we never had a realistic intention to meet each other. It was always supposed to be online. And then we had the opportunity to meet. I've gone out to Chicago, I think 5 times in the last 2 years. I've seen him every single time I've gone out. You know, he calls on my birthday. It's one of those absolutely weird situations where he just kind of is. You know, he's coming out to the East Coast in September. I invited him to come visit us. It's like the best case scenario of an internet catfish, right? So that's just a little cute, quick story for you. If you have a good catfish story, let me know. If you like this video, like it, subscribe it, gently tap that follow button. Send it to your mom, send it to your niece, send it to your grandma, send it to your gyno, send it to that girl who works at the gas station, send it to that ex-boyfriend that you really don't want to talk to, but you're pretty sure you can. Send it to a telemarketer who bothers you during dinner. I'm not picky. Until next time, my darlings. Maybe next time it will be sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts.